Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? I want to talk about Sarah Boone today. I've been following this story for a while now. Like literally, not like crazy hardcore, but like I've been following it. I've been keeping up with the court case. I remember when this first happened, this tragedy, it was really weird. It was so odd to me. You know, it's one of those murder cases where it's like, did this person really do that? And like, what is going on in their brain? But I want to bring this to you guys. I want us to definitely sit down and talk about Sarah Boone, just bring you up to speed, let you guys know what's going on. We're going to be covering it moving forward. She is currently in court, and that is quite the debacle right there. I mean, this lady is certified nuts, but not nuts enough that she cannot face charges. So the courts have deemed her mentally fit enough to face charges, and she's gone through a ton of lawyers to the point where now I think she went through like her 7th or 8th lawyer, but I think it's probably the 7th lawyer, where the judge said enough is enough. You're going to represent yourself, Sarah Boone. So listen, she's currently about to represent herself. I think she's put in a couple of motions where she's asking the judge if he can actually allow her to get an 8th attorney or possibly 9th. I think she's on the 7th that she canceled, but it could be the 8th and then it'll be the 9th. I don't know. The bottom line is Sarah Boone is a cold-blooded murder, and we're going to talk about that, right? But first, let me give you some backstory on this Sarah Boone case, right? So Sarah Boone is 42 years old, and she's charged with second-degree murder for suffocating her boyfriend inside of a suitcase. Now, many of you who don't know much about this case, you're going to ask yourself, how the hell did this guy get into a suitcase? Like, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'1". I can't fit in no suitcase. You know, like, how did this guy get in a suitcase? Well, obviously he wasn't a big guy. These two people are, I believe they were like mentally ill, and probably that mental illness came from the onset of using tons of drugs. Like, these folks were boozing, alcoholic, drug addicts. They were high, they were drunk, and they said to themselves, you know what? Let's play a game of hide and seek. And part of that in this hotel room, and like part of that hide and seek is you're going to get into a suitcase and we're going to seal it up, close it up around you, and you basically can't get out unless somebody opens it. And it wasn't like those good suitcases with the, you know, the zipper that kind of goes around 360, where you got the zipper thing kind of flips around and you could probably pull it from the inside and open it. No, it was one of those cheap ones where the only way to unzip is from the outside. This guy is crammed up in there. And it's not even that he ran out of air. I believe it was like a positional asphyxiation that killed him. That was a slow death filled with panic and despair. And it takes a really deep and dark person to watch somebody slowly die, where at any moment, ladies and gentlemen, you can say, all right, I can't do this no more. And you could just unzip it and the person will be all right. They'll be upset. They might have some cramps, but they probably wouldn't even need medical attention at any moment up until that moment when that person finally dies or passes out from shock and ends up stop breathing. You could open up that suitcase and that person would have lived. But Sarah Boone didn't want him to live because Sarah Boone was pissed. So she let him stay in there for hours, to the point where she alleges she fell asleep, but that's not the truth. Because the truth is that there's videos that Sarah Boone took with her cell phone, where she's telling him, this is what you get when you choke me. Mind you, the record kind of shows this was like a mutual domestic violence relationship. Yes, this man did abuse Sarah, but she also abused him too. And that was the first thing she said. And the second thing she said is, well, this is what you get when you cheat on me. Wow. Wow. So I want to jump in and I want to play for you guys the 911 call, and let's see how that sounds.
Oh. My boyfriend is dead.
Wow. Not a
Okay,
friend.
send the line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
All right, great. Now tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case and we were playing. And
Okay.
like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Right, okay, what's your apartment number?
3.
Apartment 3?
Yes, like he has like blood coming out of his mouth. And
All right, real quick before we continue. Well, I thought they was going to show it, but this came up. But that's a suitcase in the background. Let me keep letting it play so you can see it.
I don't know if like he had like an aneurysm or what happened.
Right, okay, all right, okay. Listen, we're getting help out there, Chief.
It's purple because he stopped bleeding. It's purple because you killed him. Because you left him in there. That's Sarah Boone, ladies and gentlemen. Let me bring it back over to me, and then we're going to bring some court papers up. So I want to bring to your attention, guys, some of the court documents. First of all, this is the victim here. We're going to bring him up so you guys can see him. And I was saying to myself, why does his eyes look so weird? Like, what is up with this guy? Well, you know, Mr. Investigator, you should know better than that. The reason why his eyes look like that is not because he's an alien or anything like that, or he had some type of surgery. You know, these people like these, I don't know, counterculture people like do things and with their eyes and put implants. No, this guy, his eyes are dilated. He's high on drugs in this video, in this picture. He's high on drugs. His eyes are dilated. He's smoking high right now. This guy was a drug addict. He looks weird, but you know, God bless the dead. Sorry that happened to you. So I want to go ahead and put up one of the arrest documents. Let's bring this over here. Affidavit for arrest on July 25th, 2018 at 1:52 hours. This is actually one of the affidavits for the domestic violence. I'm sorry, I wasn't clear about that. So this is the domestic violence. This actually shows the history of domestic violence. And this one happened in July of 2018. Deputy Sheriff Zito responded to 4748 Franks Lane at number 3 Orlando. A lot is happening in Florida, man. A lot is happening with Florida. We got the Gabby Potato case. We got Maddie Soto. You know, we got Sarah Boone. We got a lot going on in this part of Florida. It's really interesting. Reference male kicked a female in the eye. I later determined this to be an aggravated battery by strangulation and battery case, both being dating violence. Upon my arrival, I spoke to Sarah Catherine Boone. Sarah verbally stated she was at an unknown bar earlier in the evening when she asked an unknown male for a cigarette. Her boyfriend, Jorge Torres Jr., of 1.5 years, became upset since she was talking to another male and left the bar. They both went back to their residence located at 4748 Franks Lane, number 3, and continued verbally arguing. Sarah was dragged upstairs by Jorge and she was kicked in her right eye. And you know, the funny thing is, like, I really don't have a lot of mercy for domestic abusers. I really don't have a lot of mercy. I mean, unfortunately, what she did was very callous. And seeing the way she's acting now, I know that Sarah Boone is a cold-blooded murdering psychopath, but she was a victim of domestic violence. She absolutely was a victim of domestic violence. And this guy was a terrible human being. And I don't really have a soft spot for people who put their hands on women. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying we should be vigilantes out here enacting justice on these folks. I'm not saying that, but I don't have a lot of mercy for this guy, but let's keep going. Sarah was dragged upstairs by Jorge and was kicked in the right eye using his right heel. That's terrible. Sarah was unable to describe how she fell to the ground and or how she was dragged upstairs by Jorge. Probably lost consciousness for a little bit. Sarah refused medical treatment. Sarah refused to write a statement and or sign any dating violence paperwork. After I spoke to Sarah, I spoke to Jorge. Jorge verbally said that they were both at their residence, verbally arguing and have been consuming alcohol. They have been dating for 1.5 years and residing together for 1.2 years. Jorge attempted to go upstairs to avoid Sarah. While Jorge was walking upstairs, Sarah reached towards Jorge's throat using both of her hands. Sarah placed both of her hands around Jorge's throat and applied pressure to the extent that Jorge was having difficult time breathing. Jorge was sitting on the steps and started kicking towards Sarah in an attempt to get her off of him. Jorge believes he might have kicked Sarah into her face, but was not sure. Jorge believed that if he did not kick Sarah off of him, she would have made him incapacitated due to being strangled. Jorge refused medical treatment. Jorge also refused to write a statement and or sign any dating violence paperwork. Both Sarah and Jorge said that they have been dating for approximately 1 year. So it looks like that violence went both ways. And the way that statement is reading, and I'm going to go out on a limb because obviously I don't know the truth. I don't know the truth. I only know what they're saying. But it seems like Jorge's kind of telling it like it was. Because most times these guys try and minimize not just by blaming the victim for starting it, but they also try and minimize their action. And he didn't minimize his action. He said, listen, she was choking me and I was kicking like crazy to get her off of me, and I kicked her in the face. Usually when guys or people, period, tell the story like that, it's usually how it happened. So it looks like there was abuse on both sides. I have no mercy for both of them. I don't like domestic abusers, whether you're, a male or a female, it doesn't matter. It looks like this was a very volatile and dangerous relationship. I want to go ahead and pull up the arrest affidavit for Sarah Boone, and then we're going to play a quick video that talks about where the case is at right now. I think this might be what I need right here. All right. Boom. So, this is 2019. No, this is not the arrest affidavit. David, we'll find it though. This is 2019. Let's read this one. On 6/15/2019, Deputy J. O'Neill at 17:08 hours responded to Frank's Lane. So it looks like they tried to redact it this time, but they didn't redact it in the other one. So it's a little too late for that. To a battery call. When I arrived on scene, I spoke to Sarah Boone, victim 1, who stated that her boyfriend, Jorge Torres, struck her. Sarah stated that she was beaten up, face, head, legs, and arms. Sarah stated that she begged Jorge to stop, and Jorge stopped. Stated, "You are going to die." I don't know if this is true or not. This is what Sarah's saying, but we know Sarah's character. She's a cold-blooded psychopath. Let's keep going. Sarah stated that Jorge punched her in the head and flung her off the bed. Sarah stated that this incident occurred due to Jorge being upset about Sarah talking to a male. Looks like a lot of this was due to jealousy and insecurity. Let's keep going. Sarah stated that she has been dating Jorge for 2.5 years. I observed a lump that was red in color on the left side of Sarah's face. Under her hairline, she also scratches on the right side of her neck. Sarah stated that the lump was caused by Jorge punching her. She was not sure if the scratches were from today. Sarah provided a sworn written statement. She desires prosecution, and I will testify in court. Sarah completed domestic violence worksheet and was provided a victim's rights pamphlet. I then spoke with Jorge. Let's see what Jorge had to say about the situation. I observed scratches on the right side of Jorge's neck. Look like they're both beating each other up, but it could have been defensive wounds that she put on him because he's attacking her. We don't know. I asked Jorge how you received the scratches. Jorge stated he did not know. I then secured Jorge into handcuffs without incident and placed Jorge in the back of my vehicle. Based off of his statement, it looks like Sarah might have been telling most of the truth because Jorge is once again diminishing what happened. I don't know where I got that stuff. I don't know what you're saying. Do what you got to do, cop. That's usually how they talk. I then read Jorge's Miranda rights from my issued Miranda warnings card. Jorge agreed to speak with me. Jorge stated he did not strike Sarah. Okay, so now he's giving his statement. And that Sarah did not strike him. So he's lying because he's got bruises, she's got bruises. It had to come from somewhere. I took photos of both Sarah and Jorge's injuries and uploaded them into DataWorks. Both Sarah and Jorge refused medical attention due to Sarah and Jorge being involved in a dating relationship for 2.5 years. Jorge striking Sarah, causing visible injuries. I placed Jorge under arrest for battery, dating violence under the Florida statute, blah, blah, blah. My body-worn camera was activated. No further information at this time. Once again, very volatile relationship. Very volatile relationship, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go ahead and see if we can get the actual arrest affidavit that resulted in, here we go, that resulted in the arrest of Sarah Boone. This happened on February 25th, 2020. Video was 22 seconds long. Synopsis: Jorge Jr. autopsy. Follow-up interview with Sarah Boone. On February 25th, 2020, approximately 1500 hours, Sarah drove herself to the Orange County Sheriff's Office located at 2500 West Colonial Drive, Orlando, Florida. Detective Scott Lowen and I conducted an audio and video recorded interview with Sarah. The following is a synopsis of Sarah Boone's sworn recorded statement. Let's do it. Sarah was informed she was not free to leave and under arrest. Okay. Now, they redacted all that stuff in the middle, so we don't know what they said and what was not said, all that good stuff. Where they're starting is that she was informed she's under arrest. Based off of Sarah's inconsistent statements on what occurred and the videos found on Sarah's iPhone, I believe probable cause exists to charge Sarah Boone with second-degree murder. Jorge Torres Jr. is dead, and his death was caused by Sarah Boone's criminal act. Sarah zipped Jorge in the suitcase to where he could not get out. Jorge begged Sarah repeatedly, telling her he could not breathe, and Sarah left him in the suitcase. Therefore, proves the unlawful killing of Jorge by Sarah's actions and were imminently dangerous and demonstrated a depraved mind without regard Jorge's life. So that's where we're at with that. Fortunately, most of that document has been redacted, so we're missing out on some of the goods. But it is what it is. So this is Sarah Boone right here. Let's check her out. This is her booking photo. You see she clearly has an alcoholic's face, the puffy cheeks, the pot marks in the face, the discoloration. She's an alcoholic. She's an alcoholic, and so was Jorge. They were drug addicts and alcoholics. She's 42 years old, yet she looks like she's 60. That's what alcohol does for you. I stopped drinking alcohol and I lost 1 trillion pounds. And I was drinking alcohol like once or twice a week, like a small little, beer or something like that. I cut that thing out cold turkey, stopped eating tons of carbs, and I lost 60 pounds in 4 months. 4 to 5 months, 60 pounds. And right now, my chest is down and my shoulders are down because I haven't gone to gym in 2 months. If I go back to the gym, which I plan on going, so starting tonight, I'm gonna go back to the gym on the regular 5 days a week like I was doing before, but I've been so busy. It's the summertime, so you get tons of cases in the summertime. Every time I go to work, busy, that I haven't been in the gym like that. So my body is dropped. All my muscles is gone. I have no muscles no more. It's all gone, You don't go to the gym on a regular, you lose that muscle, even if you're not consuming fat. I eat a very healthy diet, very healthy lifestyle, but if I'm not going to the gym pushing weights, my muscles are going to get flat. You stop eating that stuff, you lose everything. You look amazing. She clearly is an alcoholic. You can see it in her face. And she's mentally ill as well. But that's what we got on Sarah Boone. So let me go ahead and just put in this last video for you guys. Bring the screen back to me. And share this last video with you guys. And then we'll get out of here so we can bring you up to speed on what exactly is happening on her case as far as the news goes.
New details now. The woman representing herself in her own murder trial just filed several new documents in the case. Sarah Boone is accused of zipping up her boyfriend in a suitcase and then leaving him to die there 4 years ago. Fox 35's digital journalist Garrett Weimer is joining us live from the newsroom tonight. So Garrett, she's making several requests.
Yeah, that's right. There are pages and pages of handwritten requests from Sarah Boone. 2 big things she's asking for: a standby counsel to help her get ready for trial, and she wants the state to handle the fees for a private investigator and for witnesses. Now, let's take a look at some of the letter that Boone sent to the state. In it, she says she's trying to avoid any further persecution and penalization from the judge and court while trying to succeed in her, quote, forced position of representing herself. She claims she has received no discovery or case materials yet, and she continues to ask on several pages for the court to pay for the fees for her to have a defense investigator and expert witnesses. Now, the state is denying her request for a standby counsel, saying she waived her right to a court-appointed attorney. But the court did authorize $5,000 for a defense investigator, and it did approve funds for a defense mental health expert. Any other witnesses will have to be submitted for consideration. Now, as for the case materials and a laptop to work on, the court says those will be provided to her after a hearing on Monday, and Boone will have access to that laptop from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. Live in the newsroom, Garrett Weimer.
All right, so when I think about this Sarah Boone case, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If Sarah Boone wasn't such a psychopath and actually allowed herself to be represented by an attorney, I think she has a good case of being let off on a lesser charge, like manslaughter or something like that. Because Sarah Boone was in a bona fide domestic violence relationship. Sarah Boone experienced physical violence from her boyfriend. She also did physical violence on him too, but it was a very volatile relationship. Sarah Boone is most likely mentally ill. Sarah Boone is also an alcoholic and a drug addict. If you have a good attorney that can package all those things together, there's going to be a jury that's going to say, you know what, maybe due to the boozing and the drugging and the history of violence, she had enough and she walked away from that suitcase. Maybe she didn't mean to kill him. Maybe she just meant to punish him. And then you get a manslaughter instead of a second-degree murder with depraved mind. If she would just shut up, be quiet, close her mouth and let herself get represented, there's a chance she could get off. I'm not saying with a not guilty, but certainly with a lesser charge, ladies and gentlemen. But Sarah Boone is sick, and that's just not the case. It's not the case. The whole world hates Sarah Boone now because we're watching her antics in the court. And prospective jurors are watching it too. And that's going to be her undoing. But it is what it is. Anyway, guys, I love you guys immensely. Please make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. Do me a favor. Even if you're just the type that listens, you might be working, you might be busy, you don't have time to engage in the chat or the comment section, please at least put what city you're calling from. I mean, you're watching from, rather. Put something. Say hi, Strategic. Give it a thumbs up. You don't have to say anything. You just put an emoji. YouTube doesn't care what's put in the chat so long as something is put in the comment section and the chat. And by putting something in the comment section and the chat and giving a thumbs up to the video, that's called engagement. That's going to make YouTube show this video to other people. So please consider becoming a member of the Strategic Eyes Show. Hit that join button. And if you don't see a join button underneath this show in that little information section and all that stuff, you don't see that join button there, then go to our main page and you can see our join link on the main page and go into the bio of every single video that we do. The bio section, the description section, you will see the link to become a member of the Strategic Eyes Show. But anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Like and subscribe on the channel. Strategic is out of here. Peace.